Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
Baseball fans, you're listening to Babes.
We're just going to keep popping up here. Welcome to Babes with all the babes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. We have Rachel here too. Rachel, we will put you up here in just a second.
Some babes may come and go.
Yes, well. I apologize for the technical difficulties there, but welcome, ladies. Thank you for being here. We're so excited for this whole thing. Like, this is just so cool that we're doing this. So, welcome back to another episode of Babes. This episode is extra special because, as far as we know, this is a first of its kind event in which we have brought together an exceptional group of female baseball podcasters who are breaking barriers and collectively knocking it out of the park. While there are quite a few podcasters out there talking about America's favorite pastime, to our knowledge, we have representation here tonight from almost every baseball-themed podcast that is produced and hosted solely by women, at least that we've been able to dig up. So if we are missing any, please share that with us in the comments. Today, we are not just celebrating the fact that in just a few short weeks, this coming Valentine's Day, pitchers and catchers will report for spring training. We are also here to celebrate the incredible women who bring their passion, expertise, and unique perspectives to the world of baseball podcasting. It's a day to honor our camaraderie, our passion for the game, and lift one another up over successes. All right, listeners, grab your mitts, throw on your favorite team jersey, and get ready to slide into the heart of baseball conversation with our fantastic lineup of female podcasters. It's time to swing for the fences and celebrate the bonds that make Baseball Babe community so special. So with that, thank you all for being here, and I'm going to start introducing you all one by one. So I have a little fun surprise here to help introduce you all. Erin, from what we can see, you are a total hutch. And with that, I will ask you, as we come back on, I'll take this off here. Maybe I'll take it off.
We're going to ask our Around the Horn question and start with our Around the Horn segment as we present and introduce each of our podcasters. So, Erin, you get to go first.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So, Erin, who would you consider to be your Galentine, like a woman in baseball that you look up to?
So my baseball girl crush is Sophia Minnaert, who is a sports journalist. She's the TV and digital content director for the Milwaukee Brewers and the on-field TV broadcaster for the Brewers. And she's amazing. She's won Emmys. She's incredible. And my daughter loves to see her every time she's on the screen.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
All right. Next in the lineup is... Oh my gosh. I'm having so many technical difficulties. I'm sorry. I'll get it together. We've never done this. Lisa, you ignite our hearts.
That's old school Paul Molitor.
So Paul Molitor did not like the name The Igniter, but he was nevertheless dubbed The Igniter for the spark that he generated.
Lisa, do you have a a women in baseball girl crush to share with us?
Yeah, the first person that comes to mind for me is Kelsey Whitmore.
I thought you were going to say Kelsey Bird, but I know who you're talking about.
You're the second Kelsey.
she's the
You're the
best.
second Kelsey in baseball that I have a crush on.
Thank you.
Kelsey Whitmore, she is a professional pitcher. She plays in the Atlantic League. She was the first woman to appear in the starting lineup of an Atlanta League game, which means she's the first woman to appear in technically what is an MLB game. Yeah. And I love her on Instagram. I love how inspiring she is, and she's a coach for other people, and it just makes me really happy to watch her content.
We got to see her play when we went to the home of the Rockford Peaches in Rockford, Illinois, where Team USA, they did like an exhibition game before they went up to compete over the summer. And she is as badass in person as you could ever imagine.
She's a rock star.
I so agree. If you don't know who she is, look her up on Instagram.
Yes, she
Good one.
is amazing. All right, next up is Potty Mouth. You've got our hearts votes unanimously. So Carlton Fisk was the first ever unanimous Rookie of the Year. And who is your Galentine?
Oh, you're muted,
You're on
Potty
mute,
Mouth.
babe.
You're muted.
You're still muted.
I'm clicking.
Potty Mouth, you're muted.
It's not happening.
Oh no, you're
There we go.
There we go.
All right, technical difficulties. All right, I'm going with Maybelle Blair. And I thought when Patty said you and me both, I thought that that was in response to what I was just saying. So Maybelle Blair from the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. She's 97 years old, just had her 97th birthday, and remarkably came out at age 95. And what really is amazing about her is that she's still out there. Like, she's still showing up at girls tournaments, and she's still throwing the ball around, and just an absolute living legend. And we got to see her at one of the All-Star Game like activities, Q&A things, and just hysterical, sharp women.
So if you follow us on Facebook, our cover photo is actually a picture. Oh, is that? No, that's with Perry. But we do have a picture on the Babes page of Kelsey and I with Mabel Blair and our moms. She is adorable.
She's a major babe. Mm-hmm.
Next up is Patty.
No.
You make our hearts turn to mush.
There we go. Gotta like it. So I had a couple, but I'm going to go on the Wayback Machine for us at No Crying New Baseball. We interviewed Betsy Ha, who in 2019, maybe, she was at the time the general manager of the Pulaski Yankees, which has since been, cut out of, the franchises. But I think it was Rookie League in the Appalachian League. And also, sorry, friends, the only Yankees team I'll ever root for, but you can guess that. That's okay. We're still friends. She has since left, but she was so impressive because she built this team with this center of the community organization. Super strong woman. She has since gone on to go back to soccer. Her current job is Senior Director of Strategy Development for the USL Super League, which is a women's professional soccer league that's going to start in August. So she kicks ass. And we talked to her back when she was doing, small potatoes in baseball, but doing amazing things with it. Betsy Ha.
Love it.
We've got a good variety so far. Nice job, guys.
All right, next up is Chris. I love this one for obvious reasons. You are the MVP of our hearts. And who is your Galentine?
Well, my Valentine is definitely Rachel Balkovic. I'm sure everyone, she's just recently moved up the ranks as a woman in Major League Baseball. She's now the Director of Player Development for the Marlins. We're going to miss her in Yankee land, though. It's funny because I had just, the day that got announced, I had just sent her a request through X, would she come on our podcast? And you can guess, we haven't heard, of course.
You probably got a few inquiries that day.
Yeah.
That's funny.
She's from Omaha, which is where I'm from, and I really love her. She's awesome. Next up is Lynn. Lynn, you are the captain of our hearts, and you will see in the bottom corner there, in memory of Thurman Munson.
Oh. All right. Well, how cool is it that I had a hard time coming up with just one answer to this question?
Hell yeah.
It gives me chills to even just say that. I had quite the list. And I'm still debating it, but I'm going to go with Olivia Pichardo, who was playing for Brown University and the first female baseball player to play in Division I in college, and also just slated with the USA team over the summer. And I think that she's going to follow in the footsteps of Balkovich and Eng and all the others that broke that ceiling. I'm watching her on the field and in front offices for years to come, I think.
I love it.
Do you want to know the other 12?
Well, we might.
I'm so impressed with the variety that we've had so far. What a good call out. Like you said, that there are so many to choose from.
And Mabel was on my list, by the way. So, yeah.
All right. Next, we have Susie. If nobody got you, we know Tuck got you. Chill.
My king.
That's great.
Said chill, we got you too. And I'm very impressed with the level of sleuthing that I did on that one.
It shouldn't be that hard, to figure out who one of my favorite players is. So, but my Galentine would be, and I also had a hard time trying to pick just one, but I was like, okay, got to go with my first love. My first love is photography. I am a photographer. That's my big girl job. And so my Galentine would be Monica Bradburn, who is the Detroit Tigers team photographer. And she actually has like a massive following on TikTok. And it's literally all like kind of behind the scenes stuff from like how she shoots on game days and all that fun stuff. And so I think that would just combine both of my loves, and I think that would just be great.
That's a great answer. Yeah, I know I hadn't really thought about like the whole photography aspect of it, but one of my newest coworkers actually is a professional photographer for the Rockies. So I'm learning a lot about that like whole world and all the people that she's gotten to meet, and she's so excited that Otani will be there a lot this year. So
we actually have a photographer of baseball on this podcast with us. Miss Haley from There Is Crying in Baseball has done photography for the AAA Memphis Redbirds.
I have.
Oh, love that.
That is so awesome. Okay, next up, Haley.
Speaking of Haley,
every kiss begins with K. Here's 2,202 of them. No matter which way you slice it, whether he's hitting or whether he's pitching.
Oh, it's great.
I love it. I love it.
Haley, who is your baseball Galentine?
So my Galentine is actually a friend and former coworker. Her name's Lauren, and she is AJ Preller's assistant. He is the GM of the Padres. So she is just a badass who does everything, and I've always looked up to her since I worked with her for a couple of years. And she was not a baseball fan, and she scored this job, and she has dove in head first, but she's just amazing at what she does.
We've had such a good variety of different people in different positions. These are
Haley.
amazing.
We gotta talk after this, because I have so many questions on that. Like I have so many questions. We're gonna talk afterwards.
Oh, let me know. Send them my way.
I have so many. Okay.
All right. Next we have Rachel. You're a catch.
Oh, I love it.
So cute.
That's so cute.
The best catch, if I do say so myself.
Oh, yes.
If you're Yachty's
absolutely.
catch.
Yes.
And who is your Galentine?
So my Galentine, she used to be more involved in baseball. She is more involved with football now, but is Miss Erin Andrews. I am obsessed with her. I am basically in love with her. I think she's so poised, professional, and she's so beautiful. She does it in just such a wonderful way. She's not frumpy, but she's not, I don't want to say provocative. There's nothing wrong with that, but you know what I mean? She dresses very professionally. And I think she is just someone that I have looked up to for a really long time.
If I could wear everything she wears ever.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
that's
Well, and
all
she created a clothing line too. And so I feel like every Cardinals shirt that I buy, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. Oh wait, it's Erin Andrews. But this shirt that I'm wearing right now is Erin Andrews' line. It's so cute.
Rach, we have some of the same Cardinals stuff that is Erin
Yes,
Andrews.
I know. I love it. So cute.
All right, we have almost reached the end. So we are at the hosts now. Yo, Kelsey, can we have this 2-bag, 2-step dance?
I'm checking yes all the way for Tommy 2 Bags.
And let's hear who your Galentine is.
So I was going to say Kim Ng because obviously she's the first woman to be a general manager in baseball, but I think a lot of people know about her and the impact that she made, especially with the Marlins in the last few years. I'm super excited to see what she continues to do. And that's obviously worth pointing out. But because she is a little bit more mainstream in the news these days, the other one that I wanted to talk about is Kelly Sacco, who is the sideline reporter and host for the Marlins. And one of the things that I think that she does just incredibly well that is also very unique and I hope to see more of is she is bilingual and she interviews the players in Spanish. She'll ask them a question in Spanish, they answer in Spanish, and then she translates it directly, like on the spot in English. And she does it in such a way that you like don't even realize what she's doing, but it's amazing. And it just creates an experience that is so much more inclusive for and engaging for both the players and the listeners. And she's just one of the first people that I've seen do it. She does it incredibly well. And she's just awesome at what she does too. Otherwise,
I gotta interject that Sophia Minnaert does the same thing. When she just started doing it recently, she's been the on-field reporter for years, and she always does the post-game interviews with players. And it's just recently that she started doing their interviews in Spanish, and I just love it. Like you said, it's so awesome that instead of putting them on the spot and making them answer questions in front of live TV and a huge audience in a language that's not native to them, that she is able to do that for them. So I love it too. I want to see more of it.
Yeah, it is just so impressive, and it adds so much on both sides. Well, that was a great way to get things going, everybody.
Well, we're not done, lady.
We got to do you, right?
Like, do I not get one? Just kidding.
I should have made yours, but I don't have your graphic skills. So sorry, you had to make your own Valentine.
Oh, well, it's fine. It was worth it. I think Jeter loves me too. And I am flabbergasted that we all had a different answer for our Galentine. And I'm sure we could all go around again and again because there are a lot of them now, which is really awesome. So my Galentine is Yankees broadcaster Susan Waldman. She is truly a pioneer. She started in the mid 90s, so she's been going at it for a while now. She, for two reasons. She was the person responsible for mending George Steinbrenner and Yogi Berra's relationship, which ended Yogi's 14-year Yankee Stadium drought. And since he passed away in 2015 and Steinbrenner passed away in 2010, maybe he wouldn't have ever made it back if it wouldn't have been for Susan. So love her for that. And she was the first person, believe it or not, who Derek Jeter called when he decided to retire.
Wow.
She was doing an interview with him season before, and I think she just jokingly said, "You better let me know before anybody else, if you decide to retire." And he kept his word. He did it. He called her. She didn't answer the phone. He left a voicemail. She didn't check the voicemail till the next day. Yeah, so she left him high and dry for like a whole day, but it's just,
Answer when Jeter calls. man.
right?
Did she not have
Oh.
Jeter's number like programmed into
No.
her phone? Like what?
Yeah,
She
new
also-
phone. Who's this, right?
She also was on Broadway. She was a musical theater performer before she got into baseball. So I love to call that out about her for obvious reasons.
I didn't know that.
I didn't mean either. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't answer the phone so Jeter wouldn't retire.
Yeah.
There you go. If I just ignore
An
it,
excellent point.
she'll stick
actually.
around.
But if you've watched The Captain, I think he talks about it in that documentary.
Well, before we got on live with everybody here, we had our ladies join us and prep a little game that we are going to unveil the results of for you tonight. So if you are a millennial, and if you're a millennial woman, you probably know about the game of MASH. If you don't know about it, that's okay. It's nothing too crazy. And I'll kind of set the stage here for you, tell you a little bit about it and how we put our own baseball spin on it. So typically, if you were going to play a game of MASH, you would write out MASH at the top, and that would stand for mansion, apartment, shack, and house. And that would dictate during the game what type of home you were going to live in. Then you would have 6 different categories that were something along the lines of the job that you were going to have, who you were going to marry, how much money you were going to make, what kind of car you were going to drive, how many pets you would have, how many kids you would have, that kind of stuff. And you would choose 3 things in each category. So back in the day, I might have picked that I was going to marry Brad Pitt, Matthew McConaughey, Leonardo DiCaprio. And then the 4th one in the category was one that my friends would have picked to try to be like, not a good one, not one that I would want to get. So they might
I'm
have
highly
said,
disappointed that Adam Wainwright didn't make an appearance in this. Like, I fully
oh, well,
expected
he
Adam
definitely
Wainwright
would
to
have. But, you know, for people who don't know who Adam Wainwright is, I
Gotcha,
guess,
gotcha.
you know,
Okay,
just
okay.
trying to set the stage a little more generally.
Oh,
But that's an excellent point, Susie. Adam Wainwright was definitely on every game of MASH I ever played, and I was the only person who knew who he was in my circle of friends, I'm sure. But yeah, you might put like Pete Alonso on there for one for me, because like I'm not a huge Pete Alonso fan if you were trying to put a bad one. Yeah. So we did this game, but instead of using like husbands and cars and jobs, because we all already have a lot of those things, fortunately, we did build your own baseball team game of MASH. So instead of mansion, apartment, shack, and house, it stands for Major League, Arizona Fall League, Single A, or high school baseball. So it's going to pick the league that your team is going to play in. And then the 6 different categories are the best pitcher on your team, the best hitter, your team mascot, your team manager, your team's uniforms, and your face of the franchise, who would be like your Joey Votto to the Reds or your Aaron Judge to the Yankees, who's like your vibes guy, who really is, you know, the face of the franchise. You get it. So we had everybody fill out their MASH. We gave them a number, and they counted accordingly, crossed out, narrowed it down to 1 player or person or uniforms in each category. And we now all have our teams set. So what we're going to do is go around and see who everybody has as their pitcher. And I'm just going to go around kind of with who I have on the screen here. So Jana, why don't you kick us off? Who is the best pitcher on your team?
I got Zach Gallen.
Oh, that's a pretty good one. Good pick. Susie, who's the best pitcher on your team?
The best pitcher on my team is Jordan Lyles.
Oh,
Yeah.
You set yourself up for that one. Lynn, who is the best pitcher on your team?
CC Sabathia.
All right. Chris, how about you?
Jacob deGrom.
Nice. Potty Mouth, who you got?
Chris Flexen, who I actually had to look up those White Sox. Also, I'm pre-millennial, so what I didn't do was figure out how to use the MASH letters, because I guess those also get crossed out.
They do, yes.
All right, so I'm a little wonky here, but I'm trying to hang in there.
We're gonna pick high school for you just for that.
All right.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
We'll take you back. Yeah. Lisa, who is your best pitcher?
Freddie Peralta, and I could not be happier about it.
Ooh, lucked out there. Haley, who you got?
I got Max Fried.
Ooh.
All right, that's a good one. Patty, who is your best pitcher?
I can only close because I have Felix Bautista.
Okay. Best all around. I love it. Aaron, how about you?
I got Patrick Corbin, so the wrong Corbin.
Sorry.
Incorrect Corbin.
Did you say the wrong Corbin?
Yes, I did say that.
Rachel, who is the best pitcher on your team?
Oh, big sexy himself, Bartolo Colon.
All right. I love that. I had Luke Weaver, who was not the luckiest pick for me. All right, we got everybody's pitchers. Let's go around and hear about your best hitter. Jonna, who's your best hitter?
I got none other. This couldn't be more perfect for me. Bet you can't guess who I got from the Yankees' current lineup.
I mean, I couldn't.
Anthony
because there's
Volpe.
Too many good hitters.
Really? I got Judge.
Ugh. Lynn, did you get Judge too, or did you get someone else?
Look at my face.
So not Judge.
Aaron Hicks.
Oh, wrong Aaron.
It's for -30, -30. Yeah.
Pixie.
Chris, who's your best hitter?
Unfortunately, Bader.
Oh, good old Harrison.
Hey, watch it.
Is
now.
that
Watch
with
it.
or without his mouthpiece, his mouth guard?
Right?
And his golden locks. They'll be back soon.
Yeah, his hair. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Is it with
where's
or
that
without his
hair?
hair?
You might get it back. Good point. Patty, who's your best hitter?
The friendliest first baseman, Freddie Freeman.
Ooh. Doing those doubles, the double dance.
Yeah.
Rachel, who is your best hitter?
My sweet, sweet Nolan Arenado.
Oh, Nato.
The best pick I could have gotten.
Aaron, did you get Nolan Arenado too, or you got a different one?
Oh no, I got Joey Weimer, which I'll take it. I'll take it.
I think he hit 204 last season.
You know what? I like that curly mullet and that weird batting stance.
Yeah, he
good
is.
to look-
He has
this
a
is good to look
very
at.
beautiful batting stance.
Yeah.
It's always something to love. Potty Mouth, who's your best hitter?
This is one of my good categories. I got Luis Arraez.
Ooh, nice. He was on my list. I was not as lucky. Lisa, did you get the cards to come around to Nolan Arenado? Because I know he was on your list.
Not for this one. But I got Josh Donaldson, who I did not pick and who I don't think is a terrible hitter and was actually pretty clutch for the Brewers last year, but I liked him very begrudgingly. So,
Could have been
kind of-
worse. Could have been
Most
worse.
people do.
right.
Susie, who's
He's
your
getting
best hitter?
married any day now, Josh
Is
Donaldson.
he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good for him.
Fun fact.
congrats, Donaldson. Susie, who's your best hitter?
My best hitter is Bryce Harper.
Ooh,
That'll work.
leveling it up.
Yeah, so it's
Shiesty.
it's combating my best pitcher. So it's we're okay.
Haley, who's your best hitter?
I got Matt Olson.
Ooh, that's a good one. He was on my list too.
It's on my list.
I ended up with Corey Seager though.
Not bad.
Not too shabby. Did I get everybody's best hitter?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Okay, sweet. We're gonna do mascot next. I'm excited to hear what we came up with for this one. Jonna, who's your mascot?
I got Philly Fanatic.
Oh, the most
I
elite
know.
mascot of all time.
I know.
He's my favorite. Chris, who's your mascot?
Clark the Cub.
Aw, he's cute.
Is that,
Who is
is
he?
that
I
what his
don't
actual
know
name
him.
is? I didn't know.
I
that.
think so.
Yeah, because the Wrigley Field, one of the streets that it's on is Clark
Right.
Street. I know because I lived right by it for a long time. Not a bad place to live, but better if you're a Cubs fan.
How much?
Patty, who's your mascot?
Screech from the Washington Nationals. I got the Eagle, man.
Okay.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to say Screech from Saved by the Bell at first.
Yeah, no, not the same list. Not the same list.
He could be a mascot of something, I'm sure.
Kelsey, you just turn things real dark there.
Or high pitched, either way.
Potty Math, who is your mascot?
So the one I got stuck with is Goblin Shark, which I don't think I even understand. If it has to do with the doot shark, then I would be happy with it. But that's the one I was.
It's just a really creepy looking shark. It's just an animal.
That's unfortunate. I actually had hoped that I would get my choice of a creepy mascot, which is Saba Boy from the Lions of the CPBL, the Taiwanese league. And if anyone hasn't seen him, you must look him up because he's a dancing fish head. And literally, he's just the head. So if you see a back shot of him, it looks like a steak, like the tuna steak kind of thing.
You see the inside of the fish. You really do.
It's super creepy, but it's also adorable. And yes, there are plushies that are out there, but I wish that were my mascot.
Super creepy, but adorable.
Exactly.
He wears a hat. Describe me as well. So
potty mouth contains multitudes. I'm just saying.
Probably not that different than a goblin shark.
That's true. Maybe they swim together.
I'm not gonna lie. I Googled like ugliest animals for some of these mascot suggestions, so that's where Goblin Shark came from. Haley, what did you end up with for your mascot?
I got the blobfish.
That was the number one ugliest animal according to Google.
Oh,
so,
great!
Lucky
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Susie, who is your mascot?
My mascot is Orbit.
Oh, Orbit is cute.
Orbit
He's the
is
Astros
adorable.
mascot.
I love him.
He's a good one. Rach, who you got?
I got Toad, so I assume that's the mushroom. So
Yeah.
I'll take that. I love it.
Yeah, it could be worse. You know, not famous yet, but maybe
No.
your team is gonna put him on the map.
Exactly.
The mascot.
Yeah, my high school baseball team with Bartolo Colon for sure.
Lisa, who is your mascot?
I got Dinger from the Rockies.
Oh, I love Dinger.
Cutest
I love
dino in the West.
Dinger. Oh my
He was
gosh.
on the list too.
Do you guys know why? I had Dinger on my list, and because I wanted to give a little history lesson, do you know why Dinger is a dinosaur?
No. Tell us.
When they were digging up the land to build Coors Field, they found dinosaur fossils.
No way.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that-
why he's a dinosaur.
That's crazy.
Wait, so the Rockies' actual mascot is a dinosaur?
Yeah,
yeah, he's a
Yeah.
Triceratops.
He's very cute.
It's purple.
he's very cute.
He's a good dancer.
I'm
think
learning all
he-
kinds of things tonight. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
He was in the news this past season because I think a fan got thrown out for like attacking him or something. So
How
that
dare
was,
they?
yeah, he was in the news this past year.
Like
That's why I'm
literally,
familiar with him.
literally on top of the dugout. Wasn't
Yeah,
it on
it was
top
like
of the dugout that he got attacked?
Yeah, it was not subtle. And they were escorted out immediately. So if anyone is in touch with that fan, let us know. Or don't. Lynn, who's your mascot?
My mascot was Hootie the Owl.
Oh.
It's a Yankee thing, and you really have to watch all the Yankee games. But last season, an owl took watch over the outfield and all the night games, and they always put the camera on him. Johnny, you remember, right, Chris?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we don't have a mascot, so I came up with that, and that's what I got when I counted.
That's cute.
Adorable. I love that.
Well, luckily I didn't land on Pizza Rat, or the other one.
The other infamous things in New York. Yeah, don't make great mascots. Erin, did we get your mascot yet?
No, I got the racing presidents who I get to see very often since I live here in DC.
I actually, Erin, I gave you the Colonial Woman as an option for your mascot because the Phillies actually used to have they had Philadelphia Phil and Philadelphia Phyllis back in the day, who were just, characters dressed in colonial garb that were their original mascots before this happened. So I learned that recently and I couldn't help myself. Haley, did we get yours yet? We already did did I get everybody's mascot? Sweet.
Oh,
Okay. Oh wait, I didn't say mine. I got Stuff the Magic Dragon, who is the Orlando Magic's mascot. I just he's one of my friends is a Magic fan and he's cute. So who doesn't love a Magic Dragon?
I'm kind of disappointed that nobody had the Portland pickle. I don't know why. I have like this weird affinity to the Portland pickle, but
That would have been a good one. All right, let's see who everyone has managing their team. Jonna, who's your manager?
I got Kevin Cash. Don't care for the guy that much as a person, but he's a damn good manager.
All right. We'll take
So.
it. Patty, who's managing your team?
Craig Council.
Ugh,
Yay!
sorry.
Sorry.
He was on my list
Sorry.
too.
I get it.
Listen, these wombs are still
It still
fresh.
stings. It still
Yeah,
stings.
Yeah, it still stings a little bit.
Aaron, who's your skipper?
Speaking of the sting, mine ended up being David Ross. Thank you very much. So,
Didn't you think that might have been fun though for a hot second if they just
we
played manager
switch?
swap?
We did think that could have been the case.
Could have been fun. Would have made the rivalry that much hotter. Rachel, who is your manager?
My manager is Skip Schumacher.
Oh,
I knew you would be
manager of
jealous of that one.
managers.
I knew it. I'm so-
Manager of the year. Manager of my heart. I love that one. Haley, who's your manager?
Thanks a lot. It's Jim Edmonds.
I'm sorry, Haley. That was the one. I really didn't want that for you. I really didn't want that for any of us. But
Yeah.
you know,
That's what
I'm
I got.
I'm sure his ramblings hit the players differently than they hit us. That's all we can
I hope so. Yeah.
Lynn, who's managing your team? Oh, you're on mute.
Hey, there's your next T-shirt to make, Jonna. You're on mute.
Oh,
Buck Showalter.
Oh,
Not too shabby.
yeah, superstar manager. Lisa, who is your skipper?
I also got Skip.
Oh man, Skip is so good. He can manage two
Yeah.
teams at the same time. I believe it. If anybody, can
Especially
do
a
it-
high school team like this. So
Mine too.
Chris, who's managing your team?
Joe Torre.
Oh, nice. We all love good old Joe Torre. Let's see, Susie, who you got?
I have Bruce Bochy.
Oh, that's who I got too. Bruce Bochy,
Ooh.
also super manager, can obviously
Yeah.
handle two teams.
For sure. Does not have a problem playing his rookies when needed.
that is something Susie particularly will love about him.
Yes.
Potty
for
Mouth,
sure.
who is the leader of your team?
I'm pulling Tito Francona out of retirement.
Oh,
Nice.
love
Well
that.
done.
Yes.
lucky
Love that for
you. Okay, did I get everybody? Who did I miss? I feel like got all the managers.
We got him.
All right, last two here. Oh, uniforms. We're going to see what everybody's wearing on their team. Jonna, what are your team's uniforms?
I got Yankees home.
Oh,
Classic.
Well, you gave me 4, so like it was easy to land on a good one for me.
that's true. That's true. Everyone does have home field advantage here. Lisa, what is your team wearing?
the Rangers City Connect jerseys, which for the record are the worst City Connect jerseys that are out currently.
Absolutely, Lisa. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I despise them with every fiber of my being.
I did know that. And
I never
I-
want to hear the word peagle again. Like I don't care that you made up an animal to stick on your sleeve. I don't want to talk about peagles anymore.
well, hopefully no one else got the Rangers City Connects because they liked them, because now we know. Chris, what is your team wearing?
Those 70s Pirates uniforms.
Ooh, okay.
I love the little hats that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Bringing it back, bringing some fun onto the field.
yeah.
Potty Mouth, what are your uniforms looking like?
This is another one I got stuck with. I got stuck with the Cats musical outfit, which
Can you
I
imagine?
feel like somebody was eavesdropping on me because I literally just the other day had a conversation with somebody about musicals and they said, well, almost as good as Cats. And I was like, no, I hated Cats. Like I totally did not like Cats. So
I also hated Cats, and so I'm sorry that's why I stuck you with that. But how funny is it to imagine Joey Weimer with his tail in his batting stance?
Jellicle Joey.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you did there. Nice.
Joey.
Well played.
Oh, see, it counts. It works. It all works. It's coming together. Susie, what is your team wearing?
We are wearing the D-backs throwbacks.
Yes.
With like
Yeah, those look like-
the vests with the cutoff and the turquoise and
Oh,
purple.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
That's what we're wearing.
All right.
Yeah.
Patty, what
Our
about
high
you?
school team is styling.
Nice. I'm dressed for my team, man. Baltimore City Connect. Look at me.
All right.
Love
No,
it.
hey.
Nice. Let's see. Haley, what is your team wearing?
My team is wearing the Cardinals baby blue uniforms.
Love it.
Nice. Good ones.
Rachel, did you get as lucky? What's your team wearing?
I didn't get quite as lucky, but pretty close in my opinion. This is controversial though, so a lot of people don't like these. The Padres City Connect jerseys with the neon. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. They are one of my favorite jerseys in baseball, but a lot of people really do not like them. So
I love them. I love them.
Love
I
them.
think they're so
Love
beautiful.
them.
I
Yeah.
did not realize that they were polarizing until we actually put this up on social media. And we're like, what are some of the worst ones? And people were coming out of the woodwork about that. But
They're
no, I
wrong.
agree.
Oh, they're like my favorite.
They're
And one of
amazing.
the first things I thought when Juan Soto got traded to the Padres was how sick is he going to look in that City Connect?
Exactly.
And you were right.
Thank you.
And now he's gone.
It was worth it just to see him wear the City Connect.
There we go. There we go.
Lynn, what is your team wearing?
So I was stuck with this, but I'll tell you what, I'd look forward to seeing Giancarlo Stanton in scuba gear.
In a wetsuit? Come on, who doesn't want to see that?
Just for you, I am digging up those GQ covers of him and inserting some scuba gear. So stay tuned.
My address is 86. Okay, no, I'll tell
That
you.
will be very fun. Do we get everybody's uniforms?
I haven't told you mine yet,
Oh,
but that's okay.
go
We
for
can
it.
skip it.
No.
Oh, no.
What
Absolutely not.
What
Okay,
is
listen,
Joey
if
Weaver
if
wearing?
you've listened to the Brewers Base podcast, you know that we love to talk about conspiracies. And I don't want to say that this is rigged, but the fact that Lisa and I both got the Rangers City Connects, I don't know.
Oh, did you get
Oh,
it?
Smell
I got
around.
a Rangers City Connects too. And you know how much we both hate them.
I did know that, so I do feel a little responsible, but
So,
made for
speaking
some
of
fun
Eagles.
conversation. So thanks for taking one for the team.
It could be worse. You could have got the 1970s White Sox shorts.
I thought about
But
it.
Joey Weimer in the shorts though now.
yeah, yes.
Delical Joey in those shorts, baby.
Mhm.
I got the Cincinnati City Connects. How do we all feel about those?
Love them.
Yeah.
Love
them.
those.
Bro.
Amazing.
I think they're one of the best.
Yeah.
I think we
agree.
rated them like number 3 or number 4 when we did our ratings episode.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't normally like the all black, but they made it work.
They're so slick. Yeah.
Okay. Face of the franchise is the last category, and this could go a number of different ways because it might not be a player that we all have different feelings about said players, right? So who do you want to be the face of your franchise? Jonna, who did you get and how are you feeling about it?
I mean, there's only one way to feel about Bryce Harper.
Wait, Harper.
Bryce Harper and the Philly Fanatic are like peanut butter and jelly. They're like salt and pepper. They're like all the best duos. So I love that for you. I'm
In a
little jealous.
Yankees home jersey, like hell yeah, all day, every day.
Any Phillies fans that were listening have dropped off now, but that's okay.
But we are playing at a single A level, so we'll play it by ear.
That actually, that's a good thing to add in here. We'll do your face of the franchise and what league you're playing in. Patty, who's your face of the franchise and what league are they in?
Lars freaking Nootbaar, man.
Woo!
Major Leagues.
Nice.
Major Leagues. There you go.
Nootbaar leading a major league team. I like the sound of that. Aaron, who is your face of the franchise?
No one can be mad about Joey Votto. Come on.
Oh, hell yeah.
Haley can
Love
be
it.
mad. Haley doesn't like Joey Votto. Sorry to throw you under the bus.
Haley has to go.
And unfortunately, we're playing at the high school level. So,
Well, he is looking for a gig, so maybe that's where he lands.
There's that player manager we were talking about.
Yeah, breaking news. Joey Votto signs with Aaron's Texas Rangers City Connects at the high school level. Haley, who's the face of your franchise and where are they playing at?
The face of my franchise is Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh,
They're playing in the Arizona Fall League.
so hot. The Arizona Fall League would kill to have some
They sure
Ronnie
would.
Jr. back there. All right, Susie, who's the face of your franchise and where are they playing?
The face of my franchise is Altuve, and that's great because he still looks like he's in high school. So it's
It works.
yeah,
No
Altuve and
questions
Bryce
asked.
Harper and the D-backs throwbacks with Jordan Lyles rounding it all out. We're good to go. State
Iconic.
champs, baby. State champs.
Chris, who is the face of your franchise and where are they playing?
Well, I got Alex Bregman as the face of my franchise. Major
Chris, was that
League?
the one that Kelsey gave you as your like I hate him?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I figured she wouldn't be too thrilled with that, but there's
well,
luck of the draw.
exactly. At least it wasn't Altuve.
Oh, come on now, Chris. It's okay. I mean, we all know that Altuve is the Yankees' daddy, so it's all right. It's okay.
I think Lynn had a chance of getting Altuve, but Lynn, who is
It's Galentine's Day, ladies.
yeah, keep it clean.
Seriously, you just gave us a.
Don't worry, I removed her ass for that one.
Susie's in timeout. Lynn, who is the face of your franchise and where are they playing?
Josh Donaldson, and he's going back to high school.
It's a good place for him.
High school.
It's a good place for him.
Lisa, how about you?
The face of my franchise is Charlie Blackmon.
Ooh,
From the Rockies
Yeah.
with the beard. I don't know if you all know, but at Coors Field you can buy like a foam beard that you can wear. And I had my wedding at Coors Field. Aaron was there, and so we had a bunch of guests just wearing foam beards. From the
That's
Rocky side.
incredible.
It was really great. Mm-hmm.
So
Fun
that's
fact,
so
Lisa,
fitting.
I am friends with your wedding photographer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's
Off
amazing.
the-
Kim?
off the-
I've seen your
Uh-huh.
wedding photos.
Yeah.
That's
off
creepy.
the cuff, like I was talking about this Brewers Babes podcast that I had gone on, and they had come on mine, and she goes, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was all, do you? How? And she doesn't watch baseball, obviously, and she's like, yeah, I think, yeah, and
Yeah,
showed
she's
me
there.
your wedding photos. Uh-huh.
Yeah, Kim. You saw a picture of me catching a foul ball. The
Yes.
Luke Royce foul ball on my wedding dress, and my husband, the Rockies fan, just looking like this because we won that game 9-3.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
Super good.
Sorry to.
What an epic wedding.
Yeah.
Gosh.
All right, you're coming on Babes to talk about that, all right? Yeah.
Okay. Potty Mouth, who's the face of your franchise and where are they playing?
So I feel like you did a better job at picking like the worst imaginable option than I could have on my own. And you gave me Aaron Hicks, who is playing in Single A.
Oh,
Yeah, there's my team.
maybe where he should be, but yeah. No.
My condolences, Potty Mouth.
Wait, what?
Rachel, how about you? Who is the face of your franchise and where are they playing?
I was doing really well up until this point. Face of my franchise is one of my absolute least favorites, Pete Alonso.
That would have been.
I feel a collective groan here. Is that
Wait, why don't you guys
something we all
like
agree
Polar
on?
Bear? What's happening?
Oh,
Is it
Well-
team related? Is it like I need reasoning, guys. Come on.
well, the Cardinals and he don't get along very well anymore after first base coach put him in a headlock and that whole situation. If you saw the stubby, did you see that stubby clap? Our little 4 foot, whatever, however tall he is, put Pete Alonso in a headlock. He took him straight down. They got him.
When was that?
Do you
That was
remember when that was,
2022.
Kelsey?
In 2022. Yeah.
I missed that.
And then the
Yeah.
Mason Wynn hit whenever he threw his
Yes.
first hit, and Pete Alonso threw the ball into the crowd.
And then that happened in
Yeah.
August.
His first,
Okay, so-
his first hit, he picked it up and threw it into the crowd and claimed that he didn't know. But I'm sorry, but I don't buy it. I don't buy that he didn't know.
No, you literally could see him be like, I'm not having fun. I'm throwing this into the crowd.
Because Mason Wynn was our top prospect. If there wasn't such a hype about him coming up, if it was just a regular person that they just so happened to bring up at that time, sure, I'll buy it. But no, you're not that disengaged.
We have a full podcast about this, a full episode.
We sure do.
We've all discussed it in length. But I did really like him when I think it was in 21 that he won the home run derby. I had so much fun watching him. That was like the first I really saw him, other than in passing in a game, like for an at bat or two. So I was really into him in that context. And then the Stubby Clap takedown happened. And yeah, he just comes off as, I don't dig his vibe.
I need to YouTube this headlock.
You do.
After this, we're gonna do that. That's
It's,
what I'm gonna
it is pretty fantastic. He did another kind of douche. I'm sorry to derail this a little bit. He sent Mason Wind a signed bat to apologize for throwing. Like, Mason is now a professional baseball player. What does he want with your signed bat? Like, it just seemed very condescending to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I didn't love it. Didn't love it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I actually didn't have good feelings about him with the home run derby. Wasn't that the one that he got in after Vladdy had been hitting everything out of the park, and then he was sort of well rested?
Tired, yeah.
He got in at the end. So yeah, I don't know. I'll jump on the bandwagon here.
Yeah, I think it must have been the first time that he won the home run derby. He seemed like he was like loose and having fun. And then, since then he's been like a total douchebag in the home run derby. And it's not been fun to watch him in that either. So yeah, I don't like to hate on people, but he just does not, he doesn't put off the best vibes. That's really the only way I can say it. I guess we all, does anyone feel differently? Susie?
Listen, I don't have strong feelings either way. Like I can be swayed, but for me, he's just like a big goofy gullibaloo. There's that word. I can see where, the Cardinals fans would not be happy with him. I can see it.
It is really interesting to hear from different fan bases, though, because all it takes is like one interaction to completely change your opinion of someone.
I just feel like he never looks like he's having any fun. And
yeah.
That's a problem for me. I like to see these guys that have a good time playing baseball.
Well, he plays on the Mets. Come on now, Patty.
I get that. You're right.
That is fair.
Okay, who have we not done yet? Face of the franchise? Just everybody?
I think we did.
I think we're good. Oh, and mine was a high school baseball team. I think I said that earlier, but
the face of my franchise is Jake Berger, who I was pretty pumped about, but he is on my high school team. So,
Jake Berger is pumping like 94 homers. Like it's going to be good.
Yeah. Free burgers for everybody at that high school game. That's for sure. Well, thank you all for playing along. That was fun. And we're going to, Jonna and I, Jonna will mostly create some fun graphics because she's good at that. And we'll share our teams and outcomes on social media. And maybe the listeners can vote on whose team they would most like to be a fan of. Something fun like that.
I'll look forward to know.
I will also share your Valentine's Day cards so that you can do
good.
whatever you want with them.
Thank you.
That was so sweet and
That was
thoughtful.
so cute. Thank you.
Really awesome.
Of course.
Well, as our Ruth's Rundown segment today, we are going to do the rundown of podcast so we can go through and tell our listeners where they can catch each of you. And as you're giving us where we can follow you on social media and the name of your podcast, please tell us a favorite episode that you have of your podcast. So if we're just finding you, maybe this is a good place to start. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Tell us about your podcast and what episode you might recommend.
We are the Hit the Upper Deck. Lynn and I take a look every week at fan reactions to Yankee news and views. We have a pretty active live chat we have a lot of fun with. I think my favorite episode is called Stinking in the Rain. And it's really the title that gets me kind of excited. But it was the episode after Herman's perfect game. And anyway, so that's kind of my favorite one. But you can find us on X, on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Lynn, I'll let you fill in where you are.
Yeah, Lynn, where are you at and what's your favorite episode?
So my favorite episode, you'd have to go on a little expedition on our YouTube page. By the way, we're with Pinstripe Chronicles. We're part of that family. So Pinstripe Chronicles on YouTube, like, subscribe, share. It was episode 219 from July of 2020, Chris. Can you believe that?
No.
or yeah, I think it was 2020. And it was just the weekend review from July 4th to July 9th. And the reason I chose it was just a sentimental reason, because it was so early in our journey on this. And it was like, oh, look how cute we are trying to figure all this out. And so, it's good to look back at the beginning and where you are now. So that's why you can catch me on X, Pinstripes2824. Hit the upper deck also on X and Facebook as well. And thank you so much. It's been so great to be among these awesome ladies here.
And how amazing that you guys have been doing it since 2020. That I couldn't agree more. It's so important to look back and even just recognize that.
Yeah, I might be off by a year because math, but it's been a couple of years. Yeah, a few years.
So awesome. Okay, Jonna, we're going to stick with the Yankees fans. I'm going to ask you, I know obviously we're hosting, but tell us where we can follow you and what your favorite episode of Babes is.
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter, X at 90s Yanks Kid. And then you obviously all know where to find Babes. And I am having a really hard time with this favorite one because we have had so many amazing guests, including all of you now. But one at the top for me was very early on. We had Tommy Repeat Timmons from The Sandlot, which I freaking grew up in the 90s. That was such a big staple piece of my childhood. And so having one of the cast members from The Sandlot was like I can't even put into words. I'm going to start crying because it was just even though he wasn't one of the main ones, he was still one of the kids, that you saw in every scene. And so, yeah, that was really cool to go behind the scenes and learn about that. We also had a tour guide from Fenway who was just so captivating. And yeah, so we've had a lot of cool, interesting guests, and hopefully we'll have more. And I'm going to ask Kelsey now to answer.
Ooh, well, I am on so many podcasts. What can I say? As I mentioned, I guess I mentioned this before we started recording, but I'm Jonna's co-host for her brainchild, Babes, which has brought us all here together. I'm also Susie's co-host on Bourbon and Baseball, but she'll tell you more about that. I do weekly episodes of my solo podcast called Peace, Love, and Baseball that comes out every Tuesday. And this year, actually, I just started a season 3. We are doing a week, and by we, I mean me and my fat cat who lays here next to me, are doing a weekly feature of each of the 30 franchises in Major League Baseball. So I'm interviewing fans and writers and, people who cover the team for each franchise as part of each episode. And that's been really fun. But if I have to mention some favorite episodes, one of my very favorite ones is actually episode 31, which is called Vibe Check, because it was 2 weeks into the Cardinals 2023 season. And I knew things were off. Things had gone awry. And I feel like I called out so many things then that held up today. I listened to it back a couple weeks ago and was like, wow, John Mozeliak, if you had just listened to me, we could have avoided so much of this. And anyway, I just thought it was cool that something that I recorded that I didn't consider to be evergreen I could still go back and listen to it and get something from. So I think that episode represents what I want the podcast to be about and maybe how it is unique to other baseball podcasts. So if you're looking to start following Peace, Love, and Baseball, start there. But I was also fortunate enough to have the Brewers Babes on for episode 29, and they did something really fun with me that is not so evergreen, but we put the Brewers team in 2023 and the Cardinals team in 2023 head to head the week before the season started, and we did an arbitration case, and we had a couple of my friends who know nothing about baseball listen to us talk about why we thought we had the best pitchers and why we thought we had the best lineup and the best manager and all of that, and they kind of picked who had a better chance of winning the National League Central. that went a lot differently than I thought it would. So, my case definitely did not hold up, but Aaron and Lisa did an amazing job, and that was super fun. And then I also had the gals from There Is Crying in Baseball on when they first started their podcast. So if you're looking to start following them, you can get to know them on episode 41 of Peace, Love, and Baseball, where we went over some crying moments in baseball and they rated them on the crying scale. So that was super fun. And Rachel and Haley and Sarah, who's not here with us tonight, did an incredible job of setting the stage for now their brilliant podcast that they have as well. So, Rach, while we're on the topic of There Is Crying in Baseball, will you tell us a little bit about it and your favorite episode?
Absolutely. So There's Crying in Baseball, a quick premise. We're basically just focused on emotional aspect, humanizing these baseball players and moments that make us cry, happy, sad, angry tears, whatever it may be. We did a lot of crying as Cardinal fans last year. So we had a lot of stuff to talk about. So I want to shout out a couple of episodes. On a personal note, one of my favorites is episode 10. It's called Here Comes the Bride. It was actually a week or two before my wedding. And so we did some bridal themed games that were really fun. But they surprised me with a nice message from my future husband right at the end of it. And so I was bawling. So it was just really awesome. So
I cried so much. That was amazing.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. I know, I was an absolute mess. So that was such a wonderful surprise. So that personally is one of my favorites. As far as podcast wise goes, I think episode 20, Every Yachty Needs Their Wayno is one of my favorites. It was right after the last weekend series of the year. And so obviously the Cardinals didn't make the playoffs. So it was emotional for that reason, but it was Adam Wainwright's retirement ceremony and his last weekend. And Haley and I were both there, and Albert Pujols and Yachty showed up, and it was just really emotional. So we got to talk about that a lot. So those are two of my favorites. We are, though, I don't know if Haley's going to get angry with me saying this, but we are about to interview our first MLB player this upcoming week. So we are going to release that sometime in February. So we got some really good stuff coming up. We're going to kind of shift gears and become less of a Cardinals-centric podcast and more of all of the teams around MLB for the upcoming season. So we got some really good stuff coming. So if you're going to start listening, now would be a great time.
Love it.
But all socials. We are all on socials at Crying Baseball. My personal is at Rach Boyd. We have everything: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of it.
And we'll share all of, obviously we'll tag you all in all of these social posts, but we'll put it all in the show notes too, so our listeners can follow.
Awesome.
Yes, fear not, listeners. It is all in the show notes for you. So stop furiously taking notes and just enjoy listening in. Let's see. Susie, you're up next. Tell us about Bourbon and Baseball and a favorite episode.
So Bourbon and Baseball was created because I got into baseball in 2018 and I got into podcasts a couple of years later. And I really wanted to find some female-led baseball podcasts. And I couldn't find any that I didn't want to shove rusty spoons in my ears when I listened to. And then I came across No Crying in Baseball. I came across Patty and Potty Mouth. And the fact that they were a female-led baseball podcast that, now don't get me wrong, because I do love checking out the guys in baseball pants and their schmedium baseball pants all day, every day. But the fact that they actually talked about baseball and the stats and all of the fun facts about baseball versus, oh my gosh, did you see how hot he looked? I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And the fact that, there's a gal named Potty Mouth and she used that potty mouth expeditiously. And I loved it so much. So Bourbon and Baseball was born because I found No Crying in Baseball. And I was like, they can do that. I'm like, I can do that. I could do that. And so a couple of favorite episodes of Bourbon and Baseball, and it really kind of started as an Astros podcast, but then I started branching out and following all of the baseballs. And I was like, we have to talk about all the baseballs, guys. We have to. And so my first favorite episode was the one that we recorded after the Astros won the World Series in 22. And I literally cried because I wasn't around for the first 2017 World Series win because I didn't actually like baseball back then. And so it was just extra special to me. And the fact that I did it on camera. Just kind of cracked everybody up that actually knew me in person. And then my, I guess, second and third now tied favorite is the one where we interviewed Dallas Braden, the A's color commentator and former pitcher. And he was our first big quote unquote get for the show. Like, he was our first celebrity, so to say. And we talked to him for like an hour and a half. My first co-host and I, Shelby, talked to him for like an hour and a half about baseball and life and all those things. And then it kind of came full circle this last week when Kelsey, my new co-host of Bourbon and Baseball, interviewed Jessica Kleinschmidt, also of the Oakland A's broadcast. And it was just kind of full circle baseball content. And it just made my heart swell because they knew each other and they had great stories, and it made me very happy. So you can find Bourbon and Baseball on all of the podcast things, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, on Twitter, because it will always be Twitter. It will never be X, at Bourbon in B-Ball, and Bourbon and Baseball Pod on Instagram. So.
All right, Lisa.
So we're the Brewers Babes. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter, at Brewers Babes on Twitter and at Brewers_Babes on Instagram. My favorite, we've had a lot of really fun episodes. Aaron and I have known each other for over a decade. We bonded because of baseball. Like, we're still friends through baseball. Baseball is, the thing that we loved before we loved each other. And so it's just been like such a fun thing to do with one of my best friends. So I had a really hard time picking a fun episode, or my favorite. I really liked the one that we did. We interviewed Lindsay Singleton, who's John Singleton's wife, about what it's like to be a family of a major leaguer. And that was a really wonderful episode. We interviewed a state senator, Chris Larson, about the stadium funding fiasco happened in Milwaukee, and got some really good insight on what that process is like. But I think my favorite episode, which is kind of a silly one, that we named Ejectile Dysfunction. And it was about, like, ejections were just up so much at the beginning of last year. And we were like, what the hell is going on here? And so we just threw out a bunch of conspiracy theories about why we thought umps might be ejecting so many people. And it was absurd and super, super fun.
Well, you can thank Aaron Boone for contributing highly to that number.
Great counsel too, man.
Yeah.
I think they're the
Some
top
of the
two.
best episodes come out of the most random things, but you pick a topic like that and you can run with it sometimes.
Well,
That's
Lisa and
awesome.
we spent a lot of time. This was our first season, our first complete season that we did. We started before, like, all the way in November of 2022. And we spent a lot of time and energy talking about, like, the 2023 rule changes before. So there's a lot of very F-bomb, filled episodes about the pitch clock and what's that going to look like and how did it play out in spring training and how much do I hate it and how much am I getting used to it. So we spent a lot of episodes talking about what do those changes look like actually on the field. So my favorite episode that we did is called What the Balk, which I think was maybe the episode right before ejectile dysfunction. And it was kind of along those same lines. Like, what is up with we basically just analyze these videos of different controversial balk calls and talk about how that's affected the outcome of games and how pitchers are behaving on the mound, how umpires are behaving behind the plate, and how fans are reacting to it, and what kind of conspiracy theories we're thinking of, like, what are our opinions on this. And it was just, like, really fun and very spirited, because that's been such a big thing. We all hold baseball dear, and we all have opinions on how it's changed or stayed the same over time. And that took up a lot of energy and a lot of space this year was fans all across whatever level of involvement and whatever level of your fandom, like, getting used to what are those rule changes and how do they play out. And so we spent a lot of time talking about that. So ejectile dysfunction and What the Balk were two really big ones, plus the pitch clock one, which I won't recommend because there's a lot of F-bombs. That was the one that we got.
If you do listen to it, please don't send us a DM on Twitter telling us to swear less.
Yeah, they're aware. It's choiceful. It's intentional. Thank you for your feedback. Well, Haley, tell us about your part in There Is Crying in Baseball and one of your favorite episodes.
So it kind of started actually. I work for a podcast network, and my boss came up to me one day and said, if you had a podcast, it would be called There Is Crying in Baseball, because I've been known to sit at my desk and cry over things that happen in baseball. And so when she said that, I was just like, I have to do this before someone else does it. And I literally just posted on Twitter that I was going to start this podcast. And Rachel, we barely knew each other at the time, commented on it and said, wait, I'll do it with you. And we convinced Sarah to do it. And so that's kind of how it all started. But one of my favorite episodes is episode 13, which is Hating on Adam Wainwright is Wayne Wrong. In it, Rachel does a rant, and it is by far probably my favorite, like 2.5 minutes of our podcast ever. I'll have to post the clip of the rant as well, but definitely one of my favorite episodes. Definitely recommend going back to that one.
Yeah, I agree. That rant, I mean, all of Rachel's rants are brilliant, but that rant was a chef's kiss.
So good.
Oh,
thank you guys. You're so sweet.
Spoke for all of
One
us.
of my favorite things that you guys have done lately, just because it made me feel like I'm not so crazy of a road rager.
Oh yeah.
It was but that was a good episode in general. So the Criers did an episode about where they went around all the teams and like graded them on how well they've done with their off season. And they spent like the first 20 minutes talking about a road rage incident. It was a good one. It was really good. It was really relatable. And I don't know, particularly that day, it just really captivated me. So
thank
Oh,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We do go on a lot of tangents, a lot of them.
okay, well, who's next? Who have we not?
Patty.
Sure. Potty Mouth and I have been doing No Crying in Baseball since the World Series of 2017. Susie, thank you for making us feel like proud parents. That was really very sweet. We just recorded our 338th episode. So every week, whether we need it or not. In the off season, we profile players. We pick a player on every team. So that's fun for me. But I think my favorite episodes are when we do interviews, because we try to interview people around the edges of baseball. Kind of like how when we were picking our Galentines, they weren't all, they weren't necessarily players or coaches. They were kind of around the edges. So we interviewed Dr. Meredith Wills, who's the astrophysicist, did a study on why the balls juiced. And here's how I determined if they were juiced or not. And she took baseballs apart in front of us and explained all of that, right? We interviewed Kat Williams, who is one of the founders of the International Women's Baseball Center. And we interviewed her on the occasion of her releasing her book about Isabel Lefty Alvarez from the All-American Girls Baseball League. And it's really fun to kind of examine all the things that take part in baseball. And one of the things that I think sets us apart is that we really look at baseball as a microcosm of the wider world. So we talk about social justice issues as they're expressed in baseball. We talk about immigration in baseball. We talk about labor through the lens of baseball. So there are things that affect everybody, but we just use baseball as the example. I'm going to let Potty Mouth take it from there and then tell us where to find it, because that's her job at the end of every episode, is to say where you find us.
You would think I would know it by now. I wish we had like one thing, but on X, which I still can't get used to saying, we're at NCIB Podcast, and I'm at NCIB Potty Mouth. And then Facebook and Instagram, we're at No Crying in B-Ball. And one of the things that I really like to do in our show is the international lens and looking at baseball around the world. And so I want to go into the Wayback Machine for when we first started, and we were still in our friend's basement. Now we're in we were in my basement, but our sort of home studio. And I started looking into Puerto Rican baseball and read an article about the guy who would have been the first Puerto Rican manager, but he just cut a couple of bad breaks, Marco Olivares, who did manage in the minor leagues and did a lot of managing in Puerto Rico, in the Puerto Rican leagues, and knows personally people like Alex Cora and Davey Martinez, both of whom are very, close to our interests. So I just kind of got in touch with them, and it was in our very early days, like after we'd done maybe a dozen shows, and he was like, sure. And so that was my first sort of like aha moment that, oh, wait, we can just like call people and ask if they're going to talk to us, and we'll talk about really cool things and learn some new things. So it was really nice to have him talk about how he and his wife took in Davey Martinez when he was down there as a player and things like that. So yeah, that's one of my happy flashbacks from our many, many episodes of doing this. And it's a lot of fun. And I'm really happy to see everybody here who's doing the same thing. Another thing we did really early, I think, was interview other women podcasters. And not too many of them are still out there. So, you know, I hope everybody else sticks with it, and we can have you on sometime.
Absolutely. Not only is there, you know, a place for all of these amazing badass women and your unique perspectives and energies and passions, but there is more than enough room for all of us. So keep them coming. It's so very cool to have us gather this way and to just represent. And obviously in the way that we all had so many different answers to all of these questions, I think that's one of the things that I have been the most, I guess, not surprised is not the right word, but I think we represented very well, I hope, in our conversation today, that there are many perspectives that may not be unique to us as women, but just unique to us as people. And we are here and ready and willing and able to share them. And I'm really glad, lucky, proud to be a part of this with all of you. So thank you to Patty and Potty Mouth from No Crying in Baseball, to Lisa and Aaron from Brewers Babes, to Rachel and Haley and Sarah, who is not with us, from There Is Crying in Baseball, and Lynn and Chris of Hit the Upper Deck. Of course, Susie from Bourbon and Baseball. And for me and Jonna here at Babes Babes, thank you all for joining us for our Baseball Podcasters Galentine's Day Soiree. And make sure you follow along with everybody. We've put it easily and accessible in the show notes for you. And you've got plenty of baseball content to keep you warm until spring training. We will see you next time.